This program proudly brought to you by Centrebet, puntersparadise.com.au and Vinery Stud.
Hello punters, welcome along to Talkin Thru Your Kick, week 5 of the show, and may not afford to come back for week 6 the way things went on the weekend. Talkin Thru Your Kick, followed by Zarafa, Bubkus, football, Bubkus. How does Canberra beat Cronulla? We'll get onto that one in a later date, but g'day Brent.
G'day Russ, g'day everyone, but yeah, not the best weekend on the punt and with the sport and racing. Certainly one that we can just forget about and move on.
There are plenty of people who have fired up today, but one of them who is not fired up because he's driving a brand new BMW, probably the Series 11 that hasn't even come out yet, from Centrebet, Michael Felgate. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Russ. The only BMW I can afford is a Matchbox one, so I don't know where you've got that mail. It was a bit tricky for the punters. However, they did clean up at Flemington. A lot of well-backed horses got the cash there. The Hawks, they've been well found in the AFL. They're very short premiership priced favourites now. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Personally, it was a shocking weekend. I'll tell you about that in a moment as well.
Yes, and I know exactly why. Nick Quinn, am I fair in saying there's not too many punters that would have finished on the black side this weekend?
I think it was definitely a bookmaker's weekend, but the good thing is they go round again tomorrow and the day after that, so we can always get it back.
Good on you, Quinny. That's the attitude we like here on Talking Through Your Kick, and your input is welcome. We'll get to our social media bits very, very shortly. But rap or slap time, Brent Zarafa. It's a rap or it's a slap?
Straight into a slap here. The Fremantle Dockers against the GWS Giants at Patterson Stadium on Sunday. $3.50 into $2.05 to win by 100 plus. They were in front by 94 in the final couple of seconds. The couch was certainly
Final couple of minutes. Didn't kick a goal in the last couple of minutes.
They just needed one more goal for the punters. They couldn't do it. Come up short, won by 95. Definite slap.
Talking through your kick?
Certain.
Michael, rap or slap?
I'm going to slap myself because yesterday for me was Sunday bloody Sunday. We had a share in a horse going to Bendigo. We thought we could win. I'm being a bit self-indulgent. It was in front, probably a stride before the post, a stride after Orlando's Bride in the 6th. Developed print. Stewards looked at the photo finish, missed out by cigarette paper. Backed at the win, single standout in the quaddie, all done. Then went home, watched the beloved Tigers, now out of the finals contention, and the Vixens get done. So it was a great Sunday for me.
And you wanted the distance changed. You texted me, you said, why don't they make races 13.99 or 14.01?
They should all be odd distances. Even is, I don't think it's fair. If you're in front of stride before and a stride after, you should at least get something back.
Punters, this is what the show is all about, and I dare say Nick Quinn hasn't wrapped anyone so far, except for Steve Pateman. Nick, what about today?
Got to be another slap. I think we've all had losing weekends, so we're a bit dirty. And I know Brent might get a little bit teary-eyed if I use this one, because Brent's a big fan, but I'm going to have to slap Chris Waller. He's a fantastic trainer. He's a terrific bloke, but he's a nightmare for punters. He trains winner after winner, and they seem to be the 4th or 3rd stable elect every time that do nothing but drift on course.
Well, you demanded that be our first topic, and let's have a look at that, because Chris Waller, congratulations, 3 winners, Sydney's leading trainer, and has had an outstanding season. But for the punters, Brent, it wasn't a happy day. We're going to have a look at Matea's Pride, around $10. Well done to young Alicia Collett. Coop AT, $10. And Key West, $8. They all won, yet the favourites got rolled in all of the races that we wanted them to win in.
Yeah, it certainly didn't go to script for what the punters saw the meeting. The first of those was Madam Nash, expected to sort of lead and win. The stablemate come off its back with no weight, thanks to the claim to Alicia Collett. Then you saw Coop AT.
But she won by, Matea's Pride won by, 3 lengths pulling away.
Yeah, the stable was certainly scratching their head afterwards. Liam Pryor, the racing manager, got called into the stewards' room and he said, look, it's certainly a form reversal. They'd been trying everything they could. Pointed to the lightweight as maybe something that sparked it back to form. But the big one was Coop AT. It's done nothing in 3 runs this preparation, but had been running up to a mile, dropped back to a shorter distance, freshened up. Well, not freshened up, it was only a week later, but ridden cold and allowed to hit the line and just stormed over the top of them. There was certainly plenty of punters looking down at their form guide thinking, how the hell did this happen?
Yeah, but 9s into 7s. And then, of course, you've had Key West win the last with a beautiful Nash Rawilla ride. But the one that gets us all, and your tweet said it all about halfway down the straight. Have a look at this from B. Zarafa. Tipping a few punters on Kalina. We're curling the Moski at the turn. You just see it move up on the outside, 280 into 205. It's bolting. And then Brave the Way, who, with Anthony Cummings after being in Queensland, just toughs it out to the end. And poor old Rusty, just another one gone.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they bet $3.80 on Wednesday. The official fluctuation was, I think it opened 230 out to 280, back into 205. It was the best plunge of the day in Sydney. And I'm sure plenty of punters like yourself were on its back. And coming to the turn, you're feeling very well with yourself. And about the 200, gone.
Gone. Nick, I know you gave him a slap, but is that talking through your wallet?
Well, of course it is. I mean, what punter has ever judged anything on anything else? I mean, if you weren't talking about through your pocket, you'd say a fantastic training performance. Isn't he a genius to get these horses to improve so dramatically and cause the upsets? But the punters must be just thinking, what's doing?
Michael, Kalini was a big go. Again, good result for you guys.
It was a massive go, and as Brent said on the home turn, you thought you were going to be getting into the queue. Stepping up to the 1900, not sure whether just didn't have the dash towards the end of the race. But the thing I find interesting about the Wallace stable is that you listen to them interviewed pre-race, and they're honest from the stable. They're not trying to mislead the punters. Yet 9 times out of 10, when they've got more than one runner in the race, and Richie says, "You got $10, who are you going to have it on?" They get it wrong. So if the trainer can't get it right, what hope have the punters got?
Big highlight in Melbourne. We'll go to you two boys there. A Golden Archer survived a bit of a betting drift in the pre-race market, and a lot of people first up thought that it might be a little bit suspect, but I think this is a horse that's got plenty of scope, and Peter Moody be very happy with that return.
Absolutely. I think it was a case of class really coming to the fore there. I think it might have been an early favourite for the Blue Diamond when it was a two-year-old run its first couple of starts, and then ran into Sepoy. But down the straight, unbelievable, it got out to something like $4.60 at Quinny when they jumped, because all the money had come for the Mick Price former WA filly, and that was Nightwar. Well, if you back Nightwar, she's a pick pony, and her race pretty much ended when they opened the barriers. She went right-handed and bashed herself into the gates, and Quinny, that was pretty much the end of the story for her.
It was all over for her, but it was a fantastic win, and as you said, to fight a massive betting drift, and I know hindsight's a wonderful thing on the punt, but you look back and see this horse had won its first couple of starts and then been beaten by the likes of Sepoy and Helmet, so obviously was going to be very well placed, but last campaign was a really little thing. This campaign's come back much bigger and stronger. Very impressive first up win, and I think will be worth sticking with.
Race was set up with Canali going at breakneck speed, Michael.
Yeah, look, unfortunate young jockey Alanis Brown, which is the actual daughter of the trainer Stephen Brown. We know he's a champion trainer up in Darwin. It was her first ride in town. She's only 18 years of age, and Canali's a big, strong horse. He was fresh. And look, I just don't think she was able to hold him back. Queen's Delight, who's one of the fastest horses in Australia, Canali was up eyeballing it. He's done a massive job to hang on and just miss the placings. If you're going to be following a horse out of the race, I'd be following Canali. Unfortunately for those like myself who backed him on Saturday, poor old Alana just couldn't hold him up, but it wouldn't have beaten the winner anyway.
Producer backed him each way as well, he's just told me, so he's a bit filthy on it as well. Some other filthy people were followers of the Mark Kavanagh money. Well, I'm not sure whether it was Mark's money, but Instalment, one of the biggest goes, Brent, all week, unsighted in the race in Melbourne. What happened there?
They put up $7.50, I think, earlier in the week, and then it was off the map into about $3.10. That was before African Pulse was scratched. He was scratched. Deductions, everything else came out.
Then
it started about 2:30 on the day. Then got out on track, but certainly didn't live up to the pre-post hype. And I understand one of our panel members might still be searching for what went on.
Have a look at this tweet. This says it all again. We don't mind it when you talk through your wallet. I'm not leaving the track until my best bet for the day Instalment finishes. Nick, I'll leave that one to you to explain.
Well, I think the tweet says it all. Was very, very disappointing. As Brenny Boyd touched on, heavily backed and did drift on track, but I often don't mind that if they're a big firm of the days leading into the race and then drift a bit on race day, because a lot of punters who want to be on already are. So sometimes the on-course fluctuations can be a little bit deceptive these days with so many bookmakers betting, up to 3 days before the race. But Instalment just was awful. Like never, ever did you want to be on in the run, and was gone a long way from home.
Fingers got their, the punters, I should say, got their fingers burnt with instalment there, Russ, with the early money. But the late money on the day was for the winner, Shanghai Warrior from the Pat Highland stable.
Of
Here we go.
course it
The
was.
placings were bad.
Oh, yeah,
was
exactly.
$10
There was one
into
punter late
around
had
about 650
400,000 on
the
it.
day. No, that's all right. Well, I'm telling you.
It's not for him.
I remember when you used to be a punter like the rest of us. And you used to be fair.
Don't worry, my bank account will tell you I'm still a bloody punter. Hey, followed the first four in that race, though, and we might be able to try and get some money back because he's a very, very good horse, Shanghai Warrior, and so are the place getters. A horse Balzeus flew home from towards the end of the field, and you've got Bomba Tomba. That's going to be a very strong form race in the early part of spring.
And so too is the two-year-old race out of Sydney. Seaside sent out a pretty short price favourite, and a couple of people who like Shorty fell into it, like myself.
I missed the price, so I was lucky there. I escaped that one. But
You declared it.
I said it.
You
I thought
didn't
it'd
say
win.
in the paper wins, but only back it at a certain price.
No, but like I said before, we put our tips in the paper on a Thursday. I missed the price that
Just
day.
put a disclaimer there. These tips are put in on a Thursday. Be aware.
But
All care, no
her run was
responsibility.
certainly very good, but she's run into a very, very good filly in Norzita. So I wouldn't be sacking Seaside just yet.
Well, it was a tough old run, and you see the replay, and we're going to show you that. As you just see Norzita come in, Seaside looked like she got a little bit scared on the inside.
Yeah, well, Karen McAvoy explained that he wanted a bit of time to wind up, and when he got through the inside, he thought he was going to get it, but then the outside horses laid in a touch and he was cramped for room, and when he went he had to go very quickly, and he said he had to use her earlier than he expected. So stick with Seaside. I don't think you'll certainly get your money back in.
Okay, one good sign for the punters who took that beautiful even money each of two in the Jockeys Premiership. Michael, Lukey Nolan gets the last two, sneaks ahead of Froggy, who was pretty confident going into the day with a couple of horses, but couldn't manage a win, so it's Nolan by two, and he's now $1.30 or something in the Premiership.
Yeah, absolutely. Would have been nice to take the even money. We put the market up for the punters and said, look, they're 68 each to two after Wednesday last week. You tell us who's the favourite, and it didn't take long. They crunched Lukey Nolan. As you said, he rode the last two winners on Saturday. He's got that two lead heading into the last couple of... I think there's three left, Quinny.
That's correct.
I know you're on both, so it doesn't really matter who wins, but... You can't see Froggy pulling him back now, can you?
Well, it's going to be very hard, obviously. We've touched on the fact that Nolan's got the Peter Moody support. And Nolan, a lot of punters, including myself, thought that he'd miss a few meetings with Black Caviar being over in England for the July Cup. Didn't turn out to be the case. Froggy's been sensational, but he's going to run a nice second.
Okay, time for a break here on Talkin Thru Your Kick. Still plenty to come. Your thoughts are welcome. Some people have sent some tweets with some suits that Nick Quinn has been spotted in and around Melbourne as he tries to troll the nightclubs for whatever falls out the back door. And we're going to talk about Dunedin and should a horse be called Blackman. That's all coming up after the break.